Hello! This video is for a very dear friend who I told I would teach to knit, and we have not been able to get together to do that. So I thought I would just go ahead and share it with the world. So I have a worsted weight yarn. On the yarn label that would be a number 4 typically. And then these are size 7 knitting needles. Now, if you can't find knitting needles on Amazon with cute little doggies, I am so sorry for you. These were given to me by a dear friend several years ago, and I just think they're the cutest. Okay, so what we will do is we'll begin with a cast on. So what I like to show people is a long tail cast on. So this is your tail, and this is your working yarn, and your working yarn is attached to the ball of yarn, okay? And we want to make a slip knot. So to do that, just hold the center up here, flip it over like you have a fish or a ribbon, and then flip that on to the line of working yarn, okay? And pull up in the center. So then you have a large loop, okay? And then you can pull on your working yarn, and that'll make that smaller. So then, what I like to tell kids and adults alike is take your pointer finger and your thumb and go in between those two threads as if you're making a tent, okay? So be very close to your knitting needle, okay? So then we bring that down, and I'm gonna turn this, hello, to where you can see my hands. I hope you can see my hands. Let me turn it down a little. See this? So we go under, over, through. Yeah, that light situation isn't gonna work out. I see that now. Okay, let's do it this way. So we have our tent. We go under, over, through, and take our thumb and drop that off. So again, this is called a long tail cast on. So that with our thumb is what we're going under with our knitting needle. So here, and then there, and then down. So you're creating your stitches on your knitting needle, okay? Under, over, and then you have another stitch. So we have 5. So under, over, through, and now we have 6 stitches. We want a total of 10. So under, over, through, under, over, through, under, over, through, under, over, through. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's 10 stitches. What I'm gonna do is 3 more stitches with an easier cast on, but the cast on I just showed you, the long tail cast on, that's more commonly used, and I won't go into all the reasons why, but as you progress, that might be something you really want to practice. But if you're just beginning and you just want to really practice the knit stitch, this is an easy way too. So you take your thumb, go from the front to the back, lift it up, put it on your needle and let go. So here we go again. Go down, up, and then slip it onto your needle and let go. Okay, one more. So, okay. So now you have your stitches that are cast on. I dropped the knitting needle. So now we are actually going to begin our knit stitch. So I'm going to do it this way, as if you and I were right here and you were able to sit over my shoulder. I'm realizing focusing is an issue. Let me try something here. Oh, that's not gonna work. So we go in the front, take your yarn, go around the back, take your right needle, go under the yarn on your left needle, and then come off. So it's that same thing, and you just repeat. So in, around, under, off. In, oops. Sometimes when you cast on those stitches with your thumb, it's kind of tricky to get into at first. Around, under, off. In, around, under, off. In, around, under, off. Okay, so we have right now 2, 4, 5 stitches on the right hand. And we're working these stitches on to the right needle so that this left needle will be empty. And then we'll turn it around and we'll start all over again. So I'm going to just work these up really quickly. In, around, under, off. That's what I really try to repeat to folks when I'm teaching them, because it gives them something concrete to focus on instead of lots of different variables, okay? So now we have all of our stitches on that needle that was in our right hand, and our left hand is completely empty. Okay, so what we're going to do is take your right needle, your right knitting needle, or the empty one, the one that was in your left hand, place that in your right hand, and now your left knitting needle is completely full. And we begin the process again. So a lot of times when folks are first learning, they see this right here and they go, what in the heck is wrong with that? I did something wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. That's just the way it looks. Okay, it'll go away, I promise. So we take our knitting needle that doesn't have any stitches in our right hand. In the front of that stitch, you go in, pull your yarn around, go under, and then come off. Okay, so one of the biggest lessons and things that people are uncomfortable with because they've just never done it before is holding everything. So in knitting, I like to really try and get people used to, but it doesn't have to be this way. There are no knitting pleats. It does not have to be this way. I try and get people used to holding everything in their left hand and then manipulating the yarn with their right hand. So this is the English way, or throwing, and there are 2 different techniques. There's also a way to do it continental, where we would be manipulating the yarn with our left hand, and most everything would be in the right hand. So if you're left-handed, you might look up some continental tutorials on knitting, and that would be more helpful. So this, but I've seen left-handed people do this as well. I like both techniques. Okay, so we're gonna go back in again, around, under, off, in, around, under, off. Okay, so again, these left-hand stitches are being knit and moved over to the right. So all we're doing is creating loops. Okay, in, around, under, off, in, around, under, off, in, around, under, off. You see? I do it up close. In, around, under, off. In, around, under, off. So I have 4 more stitches. So as you do that, and as you practice, you become more comfortable. Of course, you have muscle memory. And really, let me scoot you back here again. Hello. A little crooked. Really, that's what it's all about, is it's about that muscle memory and practice. So if at first you don't succeed, try again. I am a faithful believer in that. And let me know if there's anything that you would like help with, and maybe I'll do a video. This was just very quick, impromptu, me wanting to share something with someone who wants to learn to knit. And I know there's a lot of resources out there, but she's my friend and she's always been such an encouragement to me. So if this helps you, I think that's fabulous, and that would make me very happy to know that it helped you. So anyway, I hope that you enjoy your knitting, and I'll show you how to purl stitch too, maybe. If you want to learn to purl stitch, probably need to come up with some kind of setup to where you could see a little bit more clearly, but I have time to do some of that research, I suppose. Anyway, make it a good day.